As a child, I always used to wake up in the middle of the night. Only once, sometimes in the deep early morning hours. I didn't have a clock in my room, so I can't tell you exactly when, but I could feel the time being thin, if that makes sense. Like nothing else was awake in the whole world but me. Like if I made a single sound, everything would wake up and it would be morning. It was a fragile time. And in that fragile time, I would be thirsty, like deathly thirsty, my throat so dry that I would start swallowing my own saliva, feeling it slither down the grooves of my esophagus. It wasn't enough. If I had a glass prepared, sitting on my bedside table, it still wouldn't be enough. I needed more. So I would always run downstairs to fill up my cup again, quickly. I would patter down the stairs, slip on the hardwood floor while pushing against the walls for balance, dodging past beams of street lights that snaked their way through the windows. It was so quiet. I tried not to breathe. I wasn't tall enough to reach the faucet then, so I dragged over our stool. Perched on my toes, reaching out, I flipped on the faucet and filled the cup. It splashed, then slowly the water climbed up the glass. As soon as it was full, I was off again, soundlessly sliding down the hallway and up into my room. It was always then, though, during that final rush back into the covers of my bed, that I would feel something else with me there, in that time, in my house. Some deep organic wrongness sank into my stomach. It was something that told me that I shouldn't be awake, that I was interrupting, intruding, that I was in trouble. So I ran, clasping my cup so hard and moving so smooth as the water sloshed between my fingers. I always lost some water in the process, splattering on the floor and carpets. My mom would find those puddles and stains in the morning. She would yell at me, punish me, tell me again and again to drink before I went to bed. She never realized that it didn't matter. I would always wake up, and I would always be thirsty. It was one of those nights. I woke up and needed to drink. I downed my cup and was off again, running down the steps and through the hallways, running through the silence and under the streetlights. Everything was frozen in shadow, not fully real. It was just me, the darkness, and my thirst. As my cup filled, the feeling began, tickling at me from behind my rib cage, then spreading out behind my back, up my neck, prickling and pinching. The black walls seemed to move, seemed to shiver. I looked around wildly, feeling something out of sight. I was in trouble. Something passed between the window and a street light. Something was coming. Everything in my body told me to run. I took a step, pushing off back towards my room, ready to fly back to safety of my covers, but I was still on the kitchen stool. My foot fell out from under me, body tumbling over itself, the glass flying from my grip. I watched it glitter in the light, mid-air, before it slammed to the ground. Hard. It shattered. My heartbeat thrummed in my skull. I had hit my head, my ankle hurt, there was glass everywhere, I was bleeding. But I didn't care about any of that. All I knew was that I had woken something up, and it was mad. So I pushed myself to my feet, pain shooting like needles all over. The glass tinkled as I stepped over it, pieces lodging themselves in my foot as I ran. I didn't care. I didn't think. There was something close behind me. A cold gust brushed my back. A shadowy tongue leered down at me from a dark ceiling corner. I was breathing so fast, and I never screamed. I was a creature of fear, a mouse, a cockroach, skittering into my hole, to my room, up the stairs, through the door, slammed shut, then deep, deep, deep under my covers. I squeezed my eyelids together and willed myself to sleep, to forget it all. But from my cocoon I could hear something, a faint but deliberate disturbance in that fragile, nocturnal dimension. A voice. "Stay out of my room." Fear filled me, and then I fell asleep. I expected another tirade from my mother when I woke up, about the shattered glass, the blood, the water, but all I woke up to was the smell of pancakes and the songs of morning birds. There was no mess downstairs, no evidence of my disaster the night before, yet, as I was changing into my school clothes, I felt something. Reaching down, I pulled it out of my foot, a small shard of glass.